Let's head out into the streets of London and find ourselves a werewolf. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. Today we're going to head out into the streets of London to find ourselves a werewolf. But before we do that, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Join me here, I greatly would appreciate that. Today we're going to talk about another werewolf film, and this one is An American Werewolf in London. That 4K right there from Arrow has a great transfer if you're interested. It's a badass set. Check it out. I just watched this the other night. The transfer is the best the film's ever looked, and there's some pretty cool special features on there as well. This movie came out August 21st of 1981. It's rated R. It's an hour and 37 minutes long, had a budget of $10 million, and upon release, it made $30 million in America and $66 worldwide. And it's still going to this day. People love this film. It's an absolute classic, and we're going to talk about it right now. This film was written and directed by John Landis. John Landis was coming off of Animal House and Blues Brothers. That's how he finally was able to get the money to make this film, because he tried to get this movie made earlier, had a hard time getting the financing because it's a mixture of humor and horror, and sometimes those two don't go very well. This is one of the cases that it actually does works pretty damn well. Landis actually wrote this script while he was in Yugoslavia working on Kelly's Heroes, and so he wrote the script in the 60s. This didn't come out till 81, so it took a long time for this to actually come to fruition for Landis. And in this cast, we got David Naughton as David Kessler. Griffith Dunn plays his best friend, Jack Goodman. We have Jenny Otter, Nurse Alex is her name, and Frank Oz makes an appearance. He works for the American Embassy, and we see him in a brief cameo in the hospital. And basically, this movie is about David and Jack. They're backpacking through England and going to head on to more countries in Europe for their summer. And they end up in this little village of East Proctor and go into the Slaughtered Lamb. I have my Slaughtered Lamb shirt on right now. And the locals are okay with them at first until they ask about a 5-pointed star on the wall, and everybody gets kind of pissy with them and sends them on their way. And pretty soon they find out the secret of East Proctor when they get attacked by a werewolf. Jack is torn to pieces, and David gets attacked when he goes back to help Jack, and that sets off the rest of our film. David gets cleaned up, sent to London. He's in the hospital. That's when he wakes up. This one introduced to Jenny Otter's character, Nurse Alex, and the doctor, and he's being told that he was attacked by a madman. And he's like, no, we were attacked by a wolf. So his story and what the police were told are two different things. The police don't believe him, believe what they were told from East Proctor, and David ends up leaving the hospital with Nurse Alex, spending time with her. We get a love scene, and they're starting to fall in love. And then we get that awesome transformation scene that was done by none other than the legendary Rick Baker. One of the best werewolf transformation scenes ever put on film. Actually won the Academy Award for that transformation scene. Matter of fact, they won that. It was the first award given for makeup effects. And that was Rick Baker's first of many that he won over the years. And then, David, as the werewolf, goes on a killing spree throughout London. He wakes up the next day naked in a zoo, makes his way back to Alex's apartment. She's trying to talk him to go to see the doctor because and he finds out a bunch of murders were killed. So he realizes Jack was coming to him in visions in awesome makeup, telling him he's going to turn into a werewolf and kill people, and which he does. When he realizes he's causing all the problems, he goes into a porno theater, changes when the moon comes out, and then one last chaotic scene before David is shot and killed in an alley as Alex watches on crying because she is in love with David. And that is basically American Werewolf in London. What to like about this film? Well, the cast. I think David Naughton and Griffith Dunn, even though they're they're together throughout the film, but their main bulk together is the beginning of the film. We get a lot in those interactions in that early moments of the film before they're attacked on the moors. And I think they have great chemistry here. And then David with Jenny Otter, Nurse Alex's character, they have great chemistry as well. They fall in love very fast, and I believe their love story. There's also comedy mixed in. I think it works really well here. The cast, even with minus who I've mentioned, has a great cast of British actors as characters here and there throughout the film. People you would recognize. There's people that were from Alien 3 and other films. So a lot of recognizable faces in this film. They all do good with what they're given to do here. Landis shoots the film nicely, as he always did. The horror, when it does happen, is really good. The effects by Rick Baker are top-notch, as you would expect from a Rick Baker makeup effects extravaganza. Rick Baker and John Landis met in the 70s. Rick Baker made the suit for Schlock, That's how they met. And then John Landis showed Rick the script for American Werewolf in London, but they couldn't get it made. He goes, you start figuring out ways how to do this transformation scene. Because Landis, even then, when he first came up with this movie, wanted to shoot it with bright lights and show the transformation, which really, up to that point, really had not been done before. Most of it's been done with dissolves over the years, not actually showing the stuff happening on screen. So that was a challenge for Rick Baker, but it took so long to get money that Rick Baker got tired of waiting, and he went off to work on a little werewolf movie called The Howling. And when Landis called him up when he finally secured financing, because both these movies were shot in and around the same time, they both came out in 81, Landis got pissed at Baker. If you ever see interviews, he goes, yeah, he was like, you motherfucker, you didn't show him the Change-O heads. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm working on a werewolf film. But Baker made up to Landis. He left The Howling, turned it over to Rob Bottin, the great Rob Bottin, and he went on to work with John Landis on this film, and Rob Bottin went on to do the effects for The Howling, and we got two awesome makeup effects artists of all time, and two kick-ass werewolf transformations. So that ended up working out pretty damn well for everybody, especially if you're a horror fan. Again, I think this movie moves at a brisk pace. Hour and 37 minutes long. There's a great soundtrack here. Landis really used a lot of cool music with this film. Again, the transformation scene's amazing. I really don't have anything negative to say. I think this movie flows really nicely. I love the fever dreams David's having in the hospital, especially the one where the Nazi monsters come in and kill his whole family. It's a really well done scene. Again, it's just one of those movies that's an absolute classic. I love this film. I've always loved this film since I first seen it. Overall, I would give American Werewolf in London a 9.5 out of 10. It's that good. Yes, 9.5 out of 10 for American Werewolf in London. What are your thoughts on this film? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. Share this video. I greatly would appreciate that. I'm going to have a review for Bad Moon coming out, the movie from Eric Red. I think I'm going to go back and rewatch an American Werewolf in Paris. I remember hating that film, but after watching this again, especially in that beautiful 4K, it's been probably 15 years since I've seen that movie, so I might go back and revisit that and have a review up for that as well as we kick off or end our werewolf. I might do one more werewolf film then, Full Eclipse with Mario Van Peebles. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I'm looking to doing that one as well. Then we'll move on to other horror films. But yeah, I love werewolf films, and it's fun talking about them, and this is one of the greats of all time. But until next time, I hope you're all doing well out there, and I'll just leave you with bye.